Hey everyone, I'm Mark Cheverton. Many of you know me. I'm the author. Oops, let me get my microphone out of the way. There we go. I'm the author of the Game Night 999 series of Minecraft novels, and most recently, The Giant's Giant. Okay, that's just annoying. We're gonna put them over there. There. That's called the. Here, I'll let you see it. That's my microphone. If I can make it. There it goes. It's called The Blue Snowball. Anyways, okay. So I wanted to show you today how easy it is to edit your own stories with Grammarly. I get a lot of stories sent to me, and honestly, they have a lot of errors in them. And you're working on your story and you're working hard on it, and you ought to make it look as good as you can. And one way to do that is to fix all the grammatical errors that are in your story. And you don't have to be a genius at writing to do this. You just have to use Grammarly. And Grammarly is really easy and it's free. And you can go look at how to download Grammarly and add it to Google Chrome or something, or Safari, or whatever you use. It'll work on all the different browsers. And there's a ton of videos online to show you how to add it to your computer. And it's free. You do have to create an account so you can log into it. But let me show you how to use it, because it is super duper easy. Okay, so here's my document I have. This is somebody's story that they sent to me long ago. 2016, maybe? I don't remember who it was. So if you're watching this and this is yours, well, don't be embarrassed. There's a lot of errors in my stuff too, but I use Grammarly to fix it. So I want to show you that I got Grammarly going, and I know because it says there's 60 things to look at here. And notice they're underlined in red. So I can go here, and it's saying we should put a comma in front of and, which is absolutely right. That's actually called the Oxford comma, believe it or not. So I'm going to click on that and add that. And then now what does it say about bookshelf? Oh, bookshelf is one word. Yeah, okay. So I'll change that. And creek, well, it's not going to be able to find that word. It thinks it's spelled wrong, but that's the way you want it, so that's okay. Now, Zach is a proper name. We got to capitalize it. Figured that at least, oh, there's an extra space. Okay. Boop. So this is really easy. Oh, here's another Zach. And let's go down some more. Oh, looks like we missed a space. We got an extra space. Man, this is easy. Big nose. Usually when you have a word that's describing another descriptive word like this, you usually hyphenate them. So big nose should have a hyphen in between them. And let's see, what's wrong with I'm? Well, it should be apostrophe, right? I'm fine, and then we should end with a comma. And I can also see we should have no space there. So we should have a comma after no, and again, no space. Within the depths, you will find, I think that's probably the way you want it. Sometimes Grammarly will say, hey, you need a comma here, and you don't want it because it changes the rhythm of your sentence. And so that's okay to say, yeah, no thanks, Grammarly. I don't want that. Okay, thanks. Probably a comma. Yep. Jack. So when you do punctuation, let's get rid of that extra space. When you do punctuation, if you're saying replied Jack or Jack said or something, you always have a comma at the end of the dialogue, and then you have the quotation mark, and then you have, this is called the declarative. It's declaring who's the person who's speaking. So you need a comma there after Jack, not a period. You would have a period if you don't have a declarative. If you didn't have that there, then you would put a period after Jack, and Grammarly knows that. Here is what kind. I do these all the time. It's a repeated word. We want to get rid of one. Let's see. There's a bow. Notice how there's multiple things here. So it should be there are, not there is. There are a bow, a sword. I bet we need a space. And that's a question. I spell axe with an E too, so I would leave that alone. Extra period. Close on his heels, comma. So notice it still thinks axe is wrong. But that's how I like to spell axe as well. In the depths of the long forgotten is, well, again, one of those, oops, there we go, hyphenated things. This so-called hyphenated. And I have found that when I look at these, comma, frequently, I'm not really sure what the right way to do it is. And so I will usually trust Grammarly, because I bet the people that made Grammarly know a whole lot. Oh, look, it's thinking. Okay. Know a whole lot more about grammar than I do. They said they would bring a health snack. We probably want healthy snack, right? Sarah, on the other hand, it says you don't need a comma. So we'll get rid of it. Oops. Ah, it wants a comma sandwich. It wants commas on either side of on the other hand. Sarah, on the other hand, had actually called, and she said, this is actually called, when it's a comma sandwich like that, it's actually called an appositive, and it's something that could be removed from a sentence if you don't want it there, but we like it there. Couple, and said she would be a couple days. We probably want a couple of days. And let's see, we're cruising down here. Oh, there's 2 L's. We only want 1 L in traveling. So look how nice this is getting, that we're catching all of these grammatical or spelling errors. Well, we got to check this. When he arrived, he headed to John, the farmer's area of the village. So this is a possessive thing. The farmer probably has ownership of that portion of the village. Go to the farmer's shop. Again, that's possessive. So we need an apostrophe S. We need a space. As in all the shops, comma, the door. Yep, that's an introductory phrase. For some reason, it doesn't catch this. Those little spaces before or after the quotation mark. That's kind of funny. And look, it didn't catch this either. Oh, my cats are wrestling. Hold on. Hey. Cats are running around in the basement here. Zach should be capitalized. And again, it's really interesting that it didn't catch this. Right? It should have it, the comma, at the end of the dialogue before the quotation marks. Now here's one where it will recommend, now I don't know if this will do it on yours. I have the professional version of Grammarly. And so sometimes that does more things. So I don't know if yours will do this, but sometimes it will recommend a different word. But with the harvest season here, it's about to get a lot more busy. And so busier sounds, it's about to get a lot busier. Sounds better than a lot more busy. Okay. Here's well, I bet it needs a comma. Yep. Here you go, space, freshly baked. And here's another space. And another comma. Look at this, we're almost done. Axe, we're going to leave that alone. However you spelled it up at top, you ought to keep it that way. Here's a comma. It's us, Zach, so we need a comma before. Axe we'll leave alone. Smart idea, Zach replied. The smart idea? That doesn't make any sense. So right there, Grammarly is wrong. The next morning, he went to the kitchen, right? Notice how I put the word the in there when I read it. That's what happens when you read your story and look for errors, is frequently your brain will insert the little construction word like the right there. It'll insert that without even noticing it. Your brain will. This is why reading them out loud is really valuable, because you won't do it when you read it out loud. Okay, so well, you always have a comma after well. And again, look at that. Whoever this author is, You want to look out for that quotation. And I will also say, when you do a new piece of dialogue, when you start new dialogue, it should always be on a new line. So guys, what do you want to do today? Oh, quote. And then here's a new one. Well, I wanted to go fishing. I saw a potential spot here, John said. Okay, so here's the next line of dialogue. Well, we can't. Why don't we go hunting? I brought my bow with me, Luke suggested. Well, we can do both of those things, but I think blah, 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 blah. You should always start a new line of dialogue from a different character on a new line. It makes it so much easier to read. Now let's go back and look here. Okay, arrows. Oh, because there's John said after it, arrows should have a comma after it. Except we need a space. Nearly, we need a space. Hey, comma, Zach. I don't think we want a comma there, right? You want to say, hey, Zach. Hey, Zach, Luke, John, how is it going? This is how is, so it's a conjunction. So we need an apostrophe. Oh, everything is great. So everything's is a conjunction or is a contraction. So we need apostrophe S. And usually after a thing like oh, you need a comma. Let's see. There's a grocery store not far from here. I don't know what this means, but I'm going to get rid of it. I think this sentence is just goofy and somebody would have to fix that. I don't know what that sentence means. In the distance, comma, Zach, ooh, capital, capitalize. It's a lot prettier. Oh, there's 3 T's. Okay, yeah. Prettier, 2 T's. And it looks like that's it. So you see Grammarly says we missed 8 things because those were 8 things that we didn't want to change. And so now there's hardly any red marks saying we have grammatical errors. There might still be some because you notice, like again here, Grammarly is not catching that extra space after the quotation mark. And it's not also catching, hey, you ought to start your dialogue on a new line every time. It's not catching that either, but that's what the free version of Grammarly does, is it doesn't focus on those. If you want that stuff, you need to pay for it. I don't recommend you pay for it because it's kind of expensive. For me, it's important. For you doing your own fan fiction and stuff, it's probably okay. So anyways, so this is using Grammarly to go through your paper and get everything nice and pretty so you can send it to me so I can post it on my website or send it to your teacher. You know, I tutor students as old as 17, 18 years old, and I tell them all, when you write a paper, you should run it through Grammarly and you should have Grammarly check the grammar before you do anything. After you check the grammar, you ought to read it out loud. When you read it out loud to yourself, you will find lots of problems and mistakes that you can fix. If you don't read it out loud, you'll miss them. It's just really hard to find all the errors. And so I've learned I have to read out loud every one of my books before I send it to my editor or publisher or anything. And so you want to do the same thing too. All professional authors do that. So anyways, I hope this is helpful to see how to use Grammarly to correct your errors and stuff. And I strongly encourage you to do it because you're spending the time to write your story. If you want people to read it, you need to show them the respect of getting it in as good a shape as you can. You shouldn't give somebody a story full of errors. You should correct what you can. People really don't care that much about errors, but to me, it's a respect thing. I want my story to be as good as I can make it before I let somebody read it, because I'm really proud of what I've done and I worked really hard on it. And you should be proud of what you've done too, because you've worked really hard on your story. So make it look good. Use Grammarly. Okay. I hope this is helpful. I'll see you next time. Bye.